most challenging task that you handled as an IGP, because you had a string of achievements, you know. But if you were to pinpoint exactly to a particular achievement that you did it well, you know, what would it be?
I don't know what it would be. I had no problem at all, as I told you, being in the police. I just go by the law, and I try to be a reasonable man. You know, I am very much my father's son. I'm not this, I'm not that, but I'm very much my father's son. That means I fear God.
Yes.
I don't fear people.
Yes.
You know,
Amen.
If there is some danger, I do feel afraid, but I've learned to conquer fear. That's how my father brought me up. And he always drummed to me since I was 4 or 5 years old, you are my son, you are my son, which means don't let me down. And my father was known as Al-Amin, you know, a man of integrity. He was the first treasurer of UMNOR in Intan because of his integrity. His brother was the president. Because of that, when my boss was shot and killed, and that weekend a reporter came to interview me and asked me what my priority would be as the IGP. I said, my priority, I didn't say to find the murderer of my boss. I said, my priority is to fight corruption. James Ritchie was the reporter. I said, that's my priority, to fight corruption. And all the time in the police force, that was what I was doing, fighting corruption.
Extremely noble.
And I don't think corruption became a very big problem during my time. I had a very strong unit, tackling discipline, tackling corruption, you know. Even Tun Mahathir, as my minister, said, how is it that the police can do all this? Meaning, why can't the PTD do that? You know, why can't the MCS do that? You know, why only the police? So, and I didn't have a special, what do you call that, manpower approved for this unit. I just took them from off the street. I had to have that. That is my priority. And not something else, you know, something esoteric, whatever it is, like giving to the ministers so many bodyguards or whatever, you know, as you have today. We didn't waste manpower. You know, it's very difficult to get men into the police.
Yes.
And when I took over, when we were fighting the communists, we had 65,000 regular police and about 100,000 irregular police. But by the time I became the IGP, in spite of Sabah Sarawak joining us, we were left with only 29,000.
Wow.
How did this happen?
Yeah.
This happened because the moment we became independent, the government decided they needed more schools. They needed more clinics, more hospitals. Where to get the money? So demote the police. So can you imagine? We were fighting the communists in the first emergency with 20 battalions of Commonwealth troops, Gurkhas, British, Fijians, Rhodesians, you know, Australians, New Zealand. I didn't have all this. I didn't have all this. I had 29,000 men when they had 65,000 plus 100,000. So I made the speech to the old Putra,
Mm.
Tun Ling Long Sik was there, you know.
Mm.
I said, we're not going to win this war against the communists. But just kill my boss. And Johan Fernandez, he was John Fernandez in those days, a reporter. He said, hey, Tuna, you're not afraid to say all this, you know? I said, why? Nobody asked me whether I wanted to be the IGP or not. So if they remove,
Yeah.
I won't quarrel about it. And I don't think they put me against the wall and shoot me. So that was picked up by some people, and I was invited for dinner, for breaking the fast. That's the first time I met Madhe. And Madhe said, if the government hasn't got enough money for you, I'll see whether I can get some from my education budget to give to you. But of course, the bigger bosses had that, Tun Raza, Tunisian on. So they called for a National Security Council meeting. And they asked me what I wanted. I said I wanted 1 billion ringgit for the following reasons. You know,
1 billion.
they listened for a while. Nobody spoke for a while. And then the Minister of Finance, Tunisian on, he said, all right, you got the money. I said, sir, I said 1 billion ringgit. And this was 1974, an economic downturn, you know. 1 billion those days are big. Today, 1 billion is like 1 million, you know.
It's still big, though. 1 billion is still 1
He said,
billion.
you got the money. But of course, to get the money out from Treasury, which didn't have the money, was worse than fighting the communists.
Tun, you served